Hey everyone, welcome to the Dare to Care podcast, the podcast where we talk about the inner workings of ministry at Inspire Family Fellowship and community stories within the church. If you have any comments, stories, or questions about Inspire or our Dare to Care ministries at any point during our podcast today, feel free to send those questions to Carol at carol@inspirefamily.org. That's Carol with an E. We also invite you to join us in person at Inspire any Sunday or Wednesday that you're able, 523 North 21st Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Our Sunday services are at 9:15 and 10:45, and we have a couple more Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. We'll resume those on January 8th. My name's Ty Farnsworth. I am the worship coordinator here at Inspire, joined as always by our Dare to Care coordinator, Carol Johnner, and our special guest today, worship specialist, Naomi Lohse. Naomi, how you doing?
Hey guys, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So Carol's going to ask you some questions, and we just want to know your faith story and what Dare to Care means to you and the people that have touched on your life. So just to start, obviously your dad's a pastor. Where did faith really grasp a hold in your life?
Sure. So I never remember a time that faith wasn't a part of my journey. We moved here in 95 from Kansas City, and obviously, my earliest memories are my dad being a pastor, growing up in the church, growing up in Sunday school, my dad taking many roles in the church. So I saw many facets and aspects of the church, some good, some bad. But overall, I never remember not having a faith. I think when I really, truly probably took it seriously I was probably 20 or 21.
Did you ever feel pressure being a PK? I know that we've talked about this before, the PK, and people are like, what is that pastor's kid? Did you ever feel pressure like, I'm going to have to, like force type thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think there's judgments calls towards the pastor's kids. There's assumed expectations, responsibilities, but there's also an assumption that we're all going to fail.
Yep.
And that we're all going to be in this section of kids that just are super defiant and I think to some degree, probably, but
you're almost like you have to live up on this pedestal too a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's the PK's kid,
Right. And so, and not only did I go to church all the time, but I was a part of a Christian school. I didn't really, I didn't have a chance to really organically find it.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
And did you go to a lot of youth group stuff? Did they have, basically I always ask people, I'm like, did they have what we have now back when you were growing up? A youth group? Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Me and my brothers, we bounced around a little bit from quite a few different churches. The church that we had grown up in, my dad was a pastor there for many years, and he left when I was 12. And so it was right kind of in the pinnacle of us really getting established with a youth group. Luckily, I had quite a few friends that had youth groups from various churches that would invite me.
Nice. Yeah.
I went to charity for a long time, and that was really good, but I never really truly landed on a church that felt like Inspire.
Okay. And you said now then your journey technically kind of started when you were around 20, you said? Mm-hmm. And what was that? What was the life-changing moment or something in at that time?
Yeah, so graduated high school, decided I wasn't going to go to traditional college. I wanted to go to hair school, pursue that career. And it was about 3 months into hair school, and I found out I was pregnant. And so...
Young age too, right? Yeah.
Very young. So I just tried to navigate that, and I didn't really know where I landed. I didn't know where I fit. And through that pregnancy, obviously, I've been very open about the people at Inspire about this, but we found out that she had a very rare condition. And when I was 19, I delivered full term, and she passed away at 5 days old with a condition known as hollow prosencephaly. So 1 out of 100,000 babies get that, and it was nothing genetic. It just is something that happens. It's something that is in the brain. They can't do anything. And so that going through that made me question every aspect in my own life.
Yep. Everything that you were taught and heard, you're like, why? This is not what this is supposed to be like.
That's right. But I think it was truly the time and the place that I got to question God.
Okay. Yep.
in such a life traumatic story that I had to go through, I really questioned absolutely everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's my purpose? Why am I here? Why was I created? What makes me unique? Why did I have to go through this? And the more I questioned, the more I dug. And the more I dug, the more I wanted to learn. But all of that was based in the foundation of my faith that I had no idea was going to help me many years later on in my journey.
Oh, yeah. And when you say dug, like, what was your digging like? Like, what did you have to do to help you get through that?
Well, I mean, digging can mean a lot of things. You can dig through the Bible, but you can also dig through finding who you are in Jesus. So not just opening the Bible and cherry picking verses,
Yep.
but saying, Lord, truly, why did you make me? Why did you create me? Show me, give me guidance through people, through conversations, through materials, not just biblically,
Yeah.
but maybe the inspiration that you've given another person that can maybe say it, write it, speak it in a way that will truly touch my heart. That is no doubt from you.
Yep.
So digging for me felt more of self-discovery, but I did that hand in hand with my father.
Okay. And then that took about how long do you think? Are you still going through that?
Well, I think it's a never-ending
Yeah.
journey.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like marriage. You really have these strong emotions after a traumatic experience, but when the settling down happens,
Yes.
it's more of it's a comfortability, but not in the sense where you stop learning, but it's not as frantically digging
Yes.
for the answers. You're more so, I'm comfortable in my faith now where I get to sit back and I get to see and experience the blessings and joy rather than searching for the whys in everything
Yes.
in my life.
Yep. And I love when you say relationship with God. Like, you finally learned that there's a relationship there. How did you kind of realize that there's an actual relationship with God? Because I know some people out there, they struggle. They're like, if it's not a human being sitting next to me, I don't understand how I can have a relationship with him.
That's right. Well, relationship requires effort on both parts. And Jesus lets us know, and our Father lets us know that he's never going to stop pursuing. So really, when it comes to a relationship, who's the one that needs to show up? Because there's one party that always shows up.
I love it.
And so it was me. I had to show up for the relationship, and how I needed to do that. Jesus literally, the Father literally had to take me out of my situation into the desert. I think of Moses. I think of he had to lead me through that wilderness. He had to lead me through that desert. I had to get alone in order to say, Lord, I need you. And I want to build this relationship with you. And I want to build it so strong that when I adapt back into my environment and when I'm comfortable, that I am not going to stop pursuing you because you never stop pursuing me. But that relationship only happened because I was able to get away into the desert. I was able to get away where there was zero distraction, where my ears, my eyes were open enough to see that the Lord was good, and what he brought me through was going to bring me into even more blessing and he works good for all of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. I had to find out that was me, that I was included in that fold and in that flock.
You talk about relationship. Obviously, as worship leaders, you and I together have a unique relationship, sharing the job together. But when did you start leading worship, and how has that affected your relationship with God and just with people in the church in general?
Yeah. Music has always been a part of my life, my story. I think at a very, very, very young age, my parents figured out that I had a talent for singing, for leading, for worshiping. I think the older that I got, the more I wanted to utilize that. So where do I do that? Do I do that in a band? Do I do that at church? Do I do that with my brother in a guitar, through songwriting? So how do I utilize that? And I really had to come down to the question, what fulfills me? And I started leading worship quite a few years ago. I was probably 25. And there was so much fulfillment in it. And there's lots of aspects to worship leading. You want to have a good leader. I wanted to have a good leader above me to help me. But also I wanted to go into a place where there was as much humbleness as I was bringing. There was nobody was this big star show. And so I went through a couple different things that taught me a lot. I led worship at other churches, and that helped me grow into the worship leader that I am now. But my relationship with that is so raw, and it's so, when I stand up on stage, it is me and the Father. And that shines through, just like if somebody were to stand up and go, it's all about me. That absolutely shines through. But it's taken a ton of practice. It's taken a lot of rehearsing. I am up here because the Lord gave me this gift. I am not up here because I gave me this gift. So it's up to me to give it back to him. And the people witnessing, the people singing along and playing music and all, they will see. I mean, ultimately, when I give my musical gift, I crack my heart wide open. And people see that. So they either see that Naomi is up there and worshiping in a way that is real and talented, and
vulnerability is a word that comes to my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you are very open up there, and I know I've been meeting with some of the ladies here at Inspire, and in one of our book clubs, they said, when Naomi even when she's talking, like not just your singing, but when you up there and you say some prayers, they have said it's like an angel speaking to me. And they're like, can we have more Kleenex in there? Because you do. It's a presence that you bring. And I love how you say it's not me though. Like it is the Holy Spirit going through you. And I think it's just a fantastic, the presence that you bring. So,
well, almost every Sunday, I go down off of the stage and I say, Lord, what makes me worthy? What makes me worthy to even be up here in front of these people? They are going through not anything different than I'm going through. But sometimes I walk in there and I've had a really, really, really awful week. Lord, do your thing. I'm your vessel. Do your thing.
As a worship leader, leadership is a part of the role. Obviously, it's in the name. With Dare to Care, we always talk about people that have come to us or inspired us, but I kind of have a double-edged question, and feel free to answer one half or both of them. But were there people for you as a worship leader that inspired you to make yourself closer with God, or where you felt connected with someone through God as a worship leader? Or as a worship leader, was there anyone who saw you in your position and came to you and said, thank you for impacting my life the way you did, and that started a relationship with you through your leading, by your initiation as a leader, that they came to you and inspired you to do more?
Absolutely. I'm going to answer that second part first. There's people all the time, and I don't mean that to seem like it's like I'm getting a big head or anything, but there are people all the time that come up to me and say, Naomi, the way that you lead, the way that you sing, the way that you present yourself up, has completely transformed the way that I've looked at church, the way that I've looked at music. And it's so, I have to be real with myself, and I have to stay in a humble spot, because it is not me. It is my voice. It is my talent that the Lord gave me that's inspiring them. And I'm so honored, so incredibly honored. And I think part of being a leader is accepting the responsibility that comes with people coming to you and knowing what to do with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the resources that have gotten me? How can I inspire this person even more? Because it's not just about hearing the music. It's not just motivation. It's inspiration. We are Inspire. We are here to inspire the next generation or the generation before us to say, I want to lead a more fulfilling life. I want to do this. I hear her, I see her. And if that sparks something, even just the tiniest bit in somebody to say, no, I want to push it just a little bit further, then I did my job. And as a leader, we are called to do more. We are called to do better. We are called to this spot to be a part of the church and the flock, along with our shepherd as our pastor. But we are a part of that. We hold that deep responsibility when people come to us and say, how you inspire me. Well, I don't just want to inspire you. I want to lead you to you finding more about your relationship with Christ, what that means for you.
And I've seen you. Like, there's times where I believe you will sit and you'll pray with people if they come to you at the end of the service, or you've had coffee with people that you have met from the church because they come up to you. And so, like Ty was saying, that relationship that you're building from your leadership up on that stage, it goes further than just the stage.
Yeah, I agree. And a part of that is, again, accepting the responsibility of what a leader is and taking time. I think time with people in our congregation is incredibly important. You had said, who inspires me? My dad. My dad was probably my biggest inspiration.
Ernie? No, I'm kidding. We love you.
My dad was my biggest inspiration. I've seen him be a worship pastor. I've seen him completely fall flat on his face. I've seen him be fired from jobs. I've seen him go through an incredibly difficult self-discovery. And he has never once faltered in, this is what I'm called to do. I'm called to serve the Lord in a deeper, more meaningful way. And that just trickled down to me, because a big part of our family is we do things, and we do things with meaning. And we have to do things with meaning, because that's the way the Lord made us. We do things with authenticity and vulnerability, but then it turns into other people noticing that and saying, hey, I want to do that too.
When you're up on that stage, I always use the phrase conduit. We're conduits of God's message. You, better than me, and I don't think this is a male-female thing, I think you are just so talented at this. Do you ever feel like you need to just shut yourself off and just be in the position of the Spirit to impact the people around you? What responsibility goes into just being an image of God in that worship for people, setting yourself aside? You touched on it, where it's not about us when we're on the stage. How do you separate the need to be good at what you do and the need to inspire people to feel closer with God?
Well,
Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think the two can be mutually exclusive. So I don't think it has to be one thing or the other thing. I think what makes us as worship leaders at Inspire so gifted and talented is that those two can come together and meld. Yes, we have to go through, Ty, you and I, every single week, or me and Bubba, we go through, welcome everybody, we're so glad that you're here. You have to go through those things and those formalities, but that's all a part of who I am too. That's part of the gifting that God has. I don't think he would have called me to even be a worship leader if I couldn't as well do those things and be gifted at those things as well, because it's not just about the voice. It's about leadership in general. And I guess the way that the formalities have to happen, but I sit up there and I'll listen to the beginning of a song or whatever, and I'll get into this space that is just, I just have to take a breath. I just have to go, okay, Lord, this is just me and you. Let me sing this as well as I can. Let me do this and do it so that it glorifies you from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. But I also do that when we have to do the formalities. The two can be mutually exclusive. Where I have to be careful is when I get, when the accolades come afterwards. Oh, yeah, it feels really good. It feels really good. Well, Naomi, this isn't for you. It's for him. So that's where I have to be careful, and I have to separate self and really, really practice. And we get a lot of chance to practice, Ty, because we are constantly being, you guys did amazing today. You guys did so good. And the more that you practice, the more that comes naturally in order to say, thank you. But I'm just a vessel. I'm just this vessel that's here for the Lord to work through me.
And I love how you guys up on stage, I don't know. I've never been to a church where the people on stage will literally say, we are not here for American Idol. We are not here to be a show. Like, you guys will say that at least. I feel like, at least once a month, I feel like you guys let
we almost do it too many times.
No, I think it's good, though. It really is, because you never know when somebody new is in the congregation out there, and they're sitting there listening, and they're like, wow, this is like a band. This is like, on Wednesdays, it's like a rock show. But no, it's really not. And something that I want to mention, because I don't think hardly anybody out there knows, and maybe I shouldn't release the secret, but you guys will change music sometimes that day or the night before or whatever, and it's crazy how it just works out. Describe that a little bit. Yeah. Either one of you.
Well, I'll let you go with it, but I was going to say the perfect example was a few weeks ago when we had the power outage, where we had planned to do more of an acoustic service, and we planned songs specifically where it's going to be lighter, it's going to be more reflective, and we get through the third song, and you're singing, and all of a sudden the lights go out, and you and I just kind of looked at each other, and everyone says we didn't skip a beat. It felt like minutes to me.
Same.
But
it did.
We just kept going.
Yeah.
Not specifically that night, but do you feel the Spirit in those moments? I mean, the times where we pivot and it's the right choice, and it's not our choice. It's God working through us in those moments.
That's right. Well, and not to undermine, we are incredibly blessed at Inspire to have the musical talent that we have.
Yeah.
And not one of us take that for granted. We say it all the time. We are incredibly blessed. With the vast amount of years and talent that we have, we are able to pivot on a dime. If Ty's saying, hey, this song really spoke to me last night, can we incorporate it into today? Mm-hmm. Hey, this song actually is really, I really think this fits the message just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or if it's completely organic.
Yeah, your guys not set in stone.
No, absolutely not. We are incredibly blessed, but I think all of us want to come to each and every service with our best. Mm-hmm. And when we come to the Lord with our best, He utilizes our gifts in a way that is serving and pleasing, and it's a sweet fragrance that He smells. I mean, it's just that it's the incense of worship. Mm-hmm. And I mean, yeah, does that answer the question?
I think so. Yeah, it's an honor to be in the position where, to me at least, it feels like the Lord is trusting us to spread His message, whether it be through the plans that we have or the plans that He makes where He changes us and He calls us to make the changes. And we always use the word inspire, and I'm kind of sick of using it, but inspiring us to make the changes, to be an image of Him here as we do what we do.
Yeah.
But I have one final question for you, and it's a little broad, and feel free to go as short or long with it as you want. But what does the word community mean to you here at Inspire?
I think it means something different to me than it did 10 years ago. And maybe just about every year, community needs to mean something different. Mm-hmm. Sometimes my
phases of life.
Yeah, my community needed to be really small at some points in my life. Mm-hmm. And some points I get to kind of rub shoulders with a ton of people. And I don't think that either one is more worth it or less worth it. I think it's the Lord saying, hey, I want you to commune with these people or this person for this amount of time. Mm-hmm. And I really want you to soak up what they have to teach you, but I want you to teach them what you know as well. And sometimes I have a community of people that have been in my life since I can remember. Mm-hmm. I have a community in my life that has been there since, I don't know, last year. Mm-hmm. And each and every one of them teach me something different. But the community here at our little church is so precious because I think of like the vast ages. I think of a guy, Bill, that I hug every single Sunday, and he looks for it.
Yep.
Naomi, how you doing? I've been waiting for this hug. Mm-hmm. That can be just as community as the little kid coming up saying, oh my gosh, you sing so good. Mm-hmm. But that's a tough question. It really is.
And
it's broad, but it's specific.
Yep.
I think community serves you at the time the way that you need it, the way the Lord allows
Mic
for
drop.
it,
I love it.
and a way that you can incorporate that, because I don't think the Lord just says, I'm going to send these people into your life so that you can teach them.
No.
It's a two-way street. So, and maybe community for me looks different every week.
Yeah, very true. Well, I can say this. Naomi has been there for me so many times. Not to turn this on me, but it's really about Naomi because of the fact that it's leadership. It's her heart. It is, I mean, obviously her voice. But so much of Naomi, I will send people to her too. And I say, hey, she's been through this or she's been through that. And you have been through a lot. And I feel like that has been almost given to you, which kind of sounds bad, but given to you so that you can help others. And so I know I've been blessed because Naomi has been in my life. So
Thank you, Carol.
yes, she's an angel, and we need more Kleenex, is what I've been told. So
Yeah. Naomi, I'm just going to, if there's nothing you want to add, I just want to pray for you and pray for your family. So
I love it.
if you guys are driving, please don't close your eyes, but otherwise feel free to bow your heads in prayer. Father, I just lift up Naomi, all the blessings that she provides this place, that she provides the people here, that she provides me as a worship leader and doing things every week just side by side with her. Bless her family, bless her kids, bless her parents, bless her siblings, bless everything that she does, and help her to know how impactful she is in extending your kingdom. Bless her work, whether in or out of the church, and just let her know how powerful she's been for your kingdom and for your people, and let her know that and give her peace in that, the same way she gives peace to so many other people. It's in your name that we pray. Amen. Well, thank you, Naomi. We really appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you for having me
I
on,
think
guys.
we need to have her back on again.
Absolutely. We'll add to the
Anytime.
rotation.
Anytime.
So thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys continue to have a blessed rest of your year as we're into December now. We thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next Thursday.